Croeso to this presentation on the new EAS unit, Mistar Enfys. So let's start by looking at beth ydy Mistar Enfys. What is Mistar Enfys? Mistar Enfys is a new unit of work for nursery and reception learners. Mistar Enfys follows the thematic approach in line with Curriculum for Wales. Mistar Enfys has been developed with a well-being focus. It introduces age-appropriate sentence patterns and vocabulary based on feelings and colours. All planning and resources are included with additional teacher or adult cards to support the use of incidental phrases whilst completing the activities with the learners. Mistar Enfys is introduced through his story. In the story, he loses all his colours and experiences different colour-related feelings as he finds them. Pam, why use Mistar Enfys with your learners? Well, Mistar Enfys gives the learners the opportunity to say how they are feeling, to check in with you on a daily basis. It allows the learners to use familiar language patterns and will make the learning more authentic. It allows the learners to hear and use everyday Welsh language. It develops their confidence and it develops their bilingualism both inside and outside the classroom. And finally, it models how to plan a thematic approach to include Welsh. Mistar Enfys has been designed using the EAS Foundation Phase plans and the language continuum. A copy of the language continuum can be found in the files section of the team space. If you go to the documents, to general, planning and resources, you'll see a folder labelled language continuum. Mistar Enfys has also been designed in line with the 4 purposes. On this slide, we've highlighted all the appropriate elements here for you to see. As previously mentioned, Mistar Enfys is a new EAS unit of work with a health and wellbeing focus. It has cross-curricular activities to cover 5 of the AOLEs: health and wellbeing, LLC, mathematics and numeracy, expressive arts, and science and technology. All activities reinforce, consolidate, and develop several familiar Welsh patterns, but especially pa liw and sut wyt ti'n teimlo, and give the learners the opportunity to use, reinforce, and consolidate the sentence patterns and phrases in authentic and purposeful experiences. All the planning and resources for Mistar Enfys can be found in the Welsh team space. This slide shows where they are located. So if you go into the team space, if you go into files, and again, general, planning and resources, foundation learning, Mistar Enfys is there. Please ensure first that you're a member of the team space. If you are not a member, we can easily add you using your hub email. I've included the Welsh team email addresses on this slide. Please get in touch with us if you need to be added, or alternatively speak to your school's Welsh lead. All plans and resources have been organised into folders within the Mistar Enfys folder so that you can quickly and easily locate which activity you want from the designated AOLE. This slide demonstrates some of the key vocabulary that is introduced in this unit. First of all, lliwiau. Colours are introduced and reinforced. Unfortunately, the animation tab isn't working on this recording, but we'll put the PowerPoint into the team space so that you can see all the animations coming in, all the vocab. So we've got coch, oren, melyn, gwyrdd, glas, porffor, a pink. There are many fun and engaging activities which reinforce the identification and recognition of these basic colours in Welsh, which I will go through with you in a few slides' time. Oh, yay!
It's good, actually.
Bendigedig. Okay, teimladau. Feelings are also introduced in this unit. You can decide how you want to introduce them. Go straight in and introduce all 6 feelings for reception learners at this stage now of the summer term, or a few at a time if it's the autumn term with nursery. You know the stage of your learners best and what will be most effective and beneficial for them. As mentioned previously, all the resources that are needed are included in the pack, including teaching aids such as flashcards, PowerPoints, sound files, and incidental language cards for staff to use whilst completing the activities. The emotions that are introduced in this unit are crack, angry, which links with the colour coch, ofnus, which links with the colour oren, hapus, which links with the colour melyn, tawel, calm, which links with the colour gwyrdd, trist, sad, which links with the colour glass, and cyffrous, excited, which links with the colour purple, porffor. The story Mr. Enfys is available in the unit in a few different formats for you. It's available as a video, a PowerPoint with and without a voiceover, and it's available as a PDF to print to create your own copies to place around the classroom. On the last page of the book, you will find a translation for each page. Let's have a look at the story. Gwrandewch ar y stori. Hope you all enjoyed the story. So, some top tips for when you're completing the unit with your class. It is recommended that you regularly read or use the video of the text for the learners while completing this unit of work. After the hook activity has been completed, the other activities can be completed in any order. It's completely up to you. Place copies of the story in the book corner, enhanced areas or around the classroom, and include relevant flashcards and resources on displays and in areas of the classroom. This slide shows you an example of one of the incidental language cards that has been created to support the staff delivering the activities. We've provided an abundance of suggested phrases for guidance that could be used, and staff can choose as many or as few as they wish, and they could highlight them to use when completing the activity, depending on their own personal ability. We want to be as supportive and inclusive for staff as possible so that staff can just pick up the unit and have everything at hand for them. Moving on to the planning now. For every planning sheet in the unit for the different AOLEs, you will find it follows the same format and includes learning objectives, relevant progression steps for the activity listed, instructions for each activity, and a list of the incidental phrases for staff to use when completing the activity. The planning sheets have been designed for you to use directly or to copy and paste the relevant information into your school's planning sheets. So let's have a look at the planning that's included in the unit. The first place to start when you open the folder is the overview planning sheet, as this gives you a handy list or guide of all the activities we have included in this unit. As I mentioned previously, you can pick and choose as many or as few activities that you wish. This is a great sheet to highlight your choices and will signpost for you exactly where to find the planning and resources you want for each specific activity. I will go through each activity that we prepared for you, and of course you're very welcome to develop your own ideas, and if you do, please share them with us on X using the handle Cefnogi Cymraeg or @EAS_Cymraeg. Diolch. The first lesson you need to start with, regardless of whatever activities you want to complete afterwards, is the hook activity, the task llafar, the oracy task, where you present learners with a brightly coloured box or bag filled with all exciting things for them to investigate. It's important to include a copy of the story, Mr. Enfys, his character, puppets from the story, relevant flashcards from the unit, and any other rainbow or colourful things you may have lying around your classroom. Learners can explore and discuss beth sydd yn y box or beth sydd yn y bag. Here are some ideas of possible resources you may already have and want to include in your bag or box. As this is a unit of work based on health and well-being, let's have a look at the activities created for this AOLE first. So for health and well-being, we've created 4 activities. Firstly, there are ideas and resources for staff to develop a daily check-in with the learners using the 6 teimladau from the story. There are ideas and resources for peg charts, lollipop sticks, etc. Ideas for use practically or verbally as the children arrive in the morning or if you complete your check-in later in the day. The second activity is a treasure hunt, which has been prepared for reinforcing the vocab for both the colours or the feelings. You can print off the clues and display them around your classroom or outside outside area, and the learners can follow the clues to complete the challenge. There are different levels of the treasure hunt available depending on the level required for your learners. Next, we have the instructions and resources for playing game Corneli, always a popular game with learners and great for using as a warm-up for PE. Finally, we have the differentiated lotto games and boards, again for reinforcing both the teimladau and lliwiau. And again, please have a look at the different levels offered and choose the best fit for your learners. For LLC, we've created 5 different activities. First of all, enjoying and discussing the story with your learners. We have a copy of the text to print, and as mentioned before, a copy on PowerPoint with and without audio, and the video that you've just seen, all of which can be used at story time before going home or for a focused task to develop reading and vocab. We have a planning sheet with ideas and suggestions for drilling and reinforcing the vocabulary. And we've prepared some simple writing activities such as rainbow writing, darllen a deall, cutting and stick activity, which is ideal for placing in the writing area or for developing the older pupils' reading and recognition to support their oracy work. We've also created some word building jigsaws and different abilities to develop the learners' reading and recognition of the colours and feelings. They have been very popular, placed in the tough spot with our classes who are already using Mr. Enfys. The final activity for LLC is the memory game. Using the flashcards, puppets or coloured items from the hook, children have to recall the colours and feelings and what has been removed. Moving on to mathematics and numeracy, there are 4 activities on offer here. Firstly, data collection, whether collated orally through a morning check-in or creating a class pictogram, you will find useful resources here. The second activity encourages the learners to use their acquired Welsh language skills for colours to create different repeating patterns. They can be as simple or as complex as you want. Next, we have a practical activity to encourage learners to cooperate, match, sort and count objects in Welsh and to discuss what they found. And finally, a colour treasure hunt, which can be held in the classroom, outside, in Forest School, in the corridor, with coloured items, balloons, or the prepared flashcards. And learners can find the colours, create a pictogram, sort, order, count and discuss, all whilst using the incidental Welsh for numbers and colours. These activities also provide the resources for staff to extend the activities with older learners to introduce Welsh shapes, square, triangle, petriel, cylch, with the colours if wanted. The next AOLE is expressive arts, and we've prepared 6 activities here. Firstly, we have the words for the cân Mr. Enfys, which can be sung to suit the colours or the feelings. There's a version for both. Secondly, we would encourage the learners to make their own Mr. Enfys, whether they create Mr. Enfys freehand or on the template provided or digitally. Having their own Mr. Enfys is a great way to consolidate their knowledge and recognition of the colours, and they could take them home to teach their families the colours too and share what they're learning about in school. Thirdly, we've prepared music samples to cover the 6 teimladau introduced. Learners can choose the colour they feel when they listen to the music that links to the appropriate emotion. It's great to discuss with the learners how they feel and why they've chosen that colour or feeling. They can describe how the music makes them feel and why. Activity 3 links nicely with activity 4, big paint, as the learners can choose the colour they feel matches the music and move the paintbrush or the crayon or the pen to match the tempo and feeling of the music. This activity is called Big Paint as it was visualised that learners could complete it on large pieces of paper to support their motor development, but it is equally as effective on smaller paper with felt pens or with paintbrushes and mortar in an outside area, as the movement and the marks made discussing the feelings is the main purpose. The drama activity is very similar to the Big Paint. Again, using the samples of music, learners can choose ribbons to match the colours of the feeling they feel when listening and can move around the hall and space to match the music and feeling. Finally, we couldn't miss the opportunity to put a colour mixing activity in, where the learners explore what new colours can be created when mixing the paints using the Welsh colours introduced. Finally, in our last AOLE, we've found 3 fun science investigations to investigate. Each activity gives an example of an investigation to watch the colours grow and mix together. A great opportunity for developing discussion, beth wyt ti'n gallu gweld, and for prediction. Just before we finish this session on Mr. Enfys, I wanted to take the opportunity to remind staff of this valuable resource when sharing the story with your class from our other EAS packs. This list has lots of useful phrases, which I'm sure you already know and use in English, that you can translate and use in Welsh for Mr. Enfys or any other story. It's perfect to identify useful phrases for you to use and to add more as you go along to increase your own repertoire. I've also included on this slide a link to an audio video of each of the statements shared on this sheet if you want support with the pronunciation. The sheet is available in the folder. To conclude this presentation, I just wanted to share some feedback from Sarah at Mays Glass Primary, who kindly trialled the scheme for us with her reception class last year. She gave us some wonderful feedback from carrying out a range of the activities with her reception class. So Sarah shared with us that the benefits from Mr. Enfys were the children were enthusiastic and engaged. It increased the use of Welsh throughout the day. The use of Welsh felt seamless within the other subjects. It increased the children's awareness of different emotions and how they talk about their own feelings. Diolch am wrando. If you have any further questions, then please do not hesitate to get in touch with us. Our contact emails are on the slide. A copy of the Mr. Enfys PowerPoint used in this presentation will also be available in the team space, in the files, in the Planning and Resources Foundation Learning Mr. Enfys folder. Diolch am wrando.